If you don't allow the supremacists to sit at the table, control who else sits at the table, control what utensils we use at the table, control who cooks the food we eat, control what room we eat the food in, control who owns the building we eating in, control which table we eating at, control what food we eating, control how long we eat the food, then the enemy burns down the table. But the enemy can only do this if we are divided. The enemy is not strong enough nor powerful enough to do this with a united community, which is why the enemy had to destroy our image, had to destroy our perception of ourselves, had to destroy everything we hold dear. Our identity had to destroy everything about us in order to conquer us. So that's why it's important and mandatory for all of you to make sure, if you are a black man, that you are overly kind to black women. If you are a black woman, you are overly kind to black men. I understand there are brothers and sisters that are too far gone. There are brothers and sisters that have sold out. There are brothers and sisters that are down on their knees and refuse to stand up. There are brothers and sisters that are down on their knees, sucking massa off so deeply that massa think the war is over. But the war ain't never over, because we God's children. And as long as we draw breath, there is always opportunity to change the tide. Brothers, when you have a bad interaction with a terrible sister, keep in mind there's 100 more right around the corner that are great just like you. Sisters, keep in mind when you have a bad interaction with a terrible brother, there's another 100 brothers right around the corner waiting on you. We cannot afford to allow an evil, devilish enemy to control the perception we have on ourselves. If you are pro-black, that means you are pro-black man, pro-black woman, pro-black child. That means you must live in a pro-black fashion. I give critique where critique is needed, because accountability is needed on both external forces and the internal forces that we are at war with, that are holding this community back and keeping our crowns from us. I understand the ratchet dysfunction is fun, but the ratchet dysfunction is harmful, degrading, and holding this community back. Check this out, y'all. So a brother walks up to me. He said, "You Moses Kane, right?" I said, "Yeah." He say, "Brother, I dig your content, but the sisters, brother," he said, "the sisters, they don't like us. They don't fuck with us. They do not want us." I said, "You a goddamn lie." I said, "Black women always fuck with me." I say, "Brother, you got to figure out what about you, much like the sisters that say the same thing, got to figure out what it is about them that makes it to where they can't keep, nor you can't keep, a brother nor a sister." We cannot continue, we cannot afford to keep passing along regurgitated propaganda, or we cannot afford to make our own personal experiences national mass perception. You know the enemies we face. And he's sitting there with his, hand on his chin, thinking about what I'm saying. He said, "Brother, you right. I'm just hurt. I'm hurt because our sisters, they do us so wrong." And I say, well, we done did them wrong too. So how can we blame them for being mad at us? And at that point, we shook hands, we dapped up, and he walked away. The point I'm trying to make here is we have to stop feeding the propaganda. We have to stop feeding the problems. We have to stop feeding the dysfunction, division. We have to stop. This issue that we got in this community doesn't stop unless everybody in the community, and I mean you need to be in the community, everybody in the community needs to go against what the narrative is. If all you doing is contributing to the narrative, contributing to the bad habits, contributing to the dysfunction, contributing to the toxicity, then what do you expect to happen? This is why I talk the way I do. Everywhere I go, I make sure I overly respect, I'm overly polite, I'm overly kind to black and brown people because I understand what has happened historically and currently.